So Dr. Montgomery is the CEO of IntelliSense Technologies and senior researcher at the Center for Innovation and Global Health here at Stanford, and formerly the director of the National Biocomputation Center here at Stanford, where his team developed advanced technologies in medicine for NASA, the U.S. Department of Defense, the National Institute of Health, and many others. Dr. Montgomery is a serial entrepreneur and has earned a Smithsonian Award in academia, government, and industry. So let's welcome Dr. Kevin Montgomery. Okay. Next, we have from the Green Energy Council, Jim Caldwell, who has consulted with multiple Fortune 100 corporations, government organizations, and nonprofits in the USA and China to facilitate cross-cultural and interdisciplinary alliances and team building while they develop software tools to improve communications and cross-cultural management. He explains, harmonizes, and applies international, national, and local standards in the fields of green energy, smart grids, green building, and resilient community development in the face of increasing pollution, diminishing resources from waste, and climate change. He currently serves as a director of the U.S.-China Green Energy Council and chairman of its Green Building and Eco-City Task Forces. If you want to know what that means, he organizes conferences between the U.S. and the Chinese organizations to create collaborative projects for mutual benefit through sustainable growth. Let's give Jim Caldwell a very, very big round of applause. Jim Caldwell. And for those of you that are the women in the room that want to know if there's going to be a woman on the panel, yes, of course, we have to have our fabulous chicken thrower Wiefling. Yes, okay. So this is Kimberly Wiefling from Leadership Magic. She's the creator of the Possibilities Toolbox, which is 12 keys to an unstoppable team, a global business leadership consultant, and a force of nature, and she says the good kind. Management is not leadership, and a group of people is not a team. In typical Silicon Valley style, she helped to start, run, and grow about a dozen small businesses, some of which are still in business and profitable. Some of her clients, get ready for this, include Cisco Systems, Symantec, Intuit, HP, Agilent Technologies, Mazda, a lot of Asian names I can't pronounce, Mitsubishi, Heavy Industries, the University of California, Siemens, Hitachi, Xerox, you just name them all, and she has worked with them. She works with a team of people who deliver intensive workshops that enable participants, that would be us, to achieve what seems impossible but is merely difficult. The founder of Wiefling Consulting and author of Scrappy Project Management, she's determined to transform planet Earth one inspired and engaged team at a time. If we could just give a big hand to Kimberly Wiefling. And last but not least of our panel experts for this panel, we have Dan Desmond. He's the president of the SIMI, or did we say SIMI? SIMI Group, a leading innovator in healthcare, public health, and community health solutions. Long a champion of interoperable standards in healthcare and other domains, he has spearheaded government and non-governmental transformation change through the application of technology in a meaningful manner. His forte is bringing together government, non-government, and private sector leaders and stakeholders to achieve a unified vision to develop and implement sustainable solutions to common problems. Since 2010, the Health Resilience Exchange has demonstrated the power of public-private collaborations. He is currently a co-director of the Beacon Educational, Analytical, and Coordination Hub, which is also known as the Beach. Let's give Mr. Dan Desmond a big round of applause. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and get started, and in a particular order, we're going to start with Jim Caldwell on Bridging Cultures, China-US Green Energy Council. Thank you so much.
So basically, I want to talk about eco-city development, which is about holistic thinking, bringing together all the different aspects of things in life and trying to make them all work together so that we have a resilient, growing, but sustainable life in the future. So now by bridging cultures, I'm taking the...
I think they need that for the video.
Okay. So bridging cultures here, I took a theme, or take many themes from Chinese culture, which is the key, really, to making or helping people work together from different cultures. And my wife is a psychologist, and one of the key items that she learned in her training as a psychologist is that marriages have the most trouble when people grow up in the same city, what seems to be the same culture, because they don't understand each other's family cultures, and they don't have a clue how to even deal with it. And on the other hand, those of us, I'm also married to a Chinese, so we knew from the beginning that we were different. We see the world differently, we talk differently, we think differently. And so we get along great, because we don't have any unexpected disagreements. And unexpected disagreements or unexpected perceptions are what cause problems, right? Across cultures. So China's ancient culture has this concept of yin and yang, and I've superimposed the recycling symbol on top of that. But that is the key, right? It's about everything is composed of opposites in balance. And problems come when they go out of balance by too much. So we try to integrate things, and we look at what the balance can be and make it work best. Okay, well, one of the big issues that we have already talked about is population explosion, 9 billion people by 2050. And I did all this bilingually so that it will, cross cultures. When I present in China, then I don't have to translate. Or I still do, but anyway. So 9 billion people by 2050, and most of them in cities. So how do we prepare for that? The concept that we have come up with within the Green Energy Council is the smart cities. Smart cities integrate economics, mobility, environments, smart governance, smart living, and smart citizens. And when they can all be integrated, then things can work in a dynamic balance. Now, the U.S. Green Building Council observed a few years ago that if you build a building in an integrated way, and you don't just go in and put solar panels on the roof, or just put insulation, but if you redo the whole building, you can save 24 to 50% in energy, 33 to 39% in CO2 emissions, 40% in water use, and 70% in solid waste. So it's holistic thinking, integrating all of these things. If you only try to think in your specialized field, you're going to miss the boat. Now here's biomimicry, which probably most of you have heard of. But basically, the Ziri Institute has taken the lead or one of the leading roles in promoting this concept. Nature is about everything working together. Whatever is wasted in one part of nature becomes food for another part of nature. And as long as we don't get too much out of balance, everything works. And nature will correct itself. So if we human beings screw it up, nature will go on and it will fix it. But if we can do it in such a way that we don't screw it up, then we benefit along with the rest of nature. So there's 5 kingdoms of natural life, and if we eliminate one of them, we got trouble. Bacteria, algae, fungi, plants, animals. And there are 5 intelligences of human beings: emotional, academic, artistic, ecological, and social organizational, which is able to do it together. So how do we integrate them? Well, there's the problem. We live in silos. We think we can only see what we see or feel. And how do we fix that? Collaboration. So let's think about, okay, how can we collaborate across cultures, across languages, across different special fields, right? I mean, one of the biggest problems in architecture or building buildings is that the contractors don't even see the world the same. So the architect says, well, let's build this building very sustainable and easy to live in. And the builders, they don't talk to each other. They build whatever's best or cheapest for their field. And what ends up is a huge, uncomfortable terrible building. And one of the things they forget about, even the LEED Platinum buildings, they forget about acoustics. You go in there, the sound is awful. Well, here's a model that was developed by a Chinese agency, Shanghai Building Science Research Institute, to integrate all the various aspects. So the ones in white are the ones that they had in their model. The ones in green are the ones that I added. And this we presented in our conference in Shanghai a couple of years ago. And you see it's done in a yin and yang model. So you got environmental protection, people-oriented. You got competition, collaboration, energy conservation, resource regeneration, individual innovation, and organizational innovation. And only when all of those are there can you go forward sustainably. All right, so what we did is, we had a 1990 Institute, another group I belonged to. We organized 1 million children in China to paint about the environment, to come up with their own ideas to get them engaged. And they painted some fantastic paintings, right? And their paintings, we brought the top 100 to the U.S. and took them around to museums and art galleries and to various cities all over the country. And the children inspired the adults, right? And now they're adults, so they're actually stepping into roles where they can put this into action. So they're engaged. They were engaged when they were very young, 5 to 15 years old, and they painted all these wonderful paintings. And then we build on that, so we work with the adults as well. So that's like one 15-year-old came up with that. So 6-year-old came up with a desert picture. 10-year-old came up with the pollution where everybody has to wear masks these days. But this is about stakeholder education. Then we got stakeholder envisioning. So envision the future that you want. So then once you can envision the future, you want different dimensions. And the success of that project of planning and developing that city is going to depend on actually achieving these goals by working together.
That's a great place to stop. Let's give him a big hand.